Have you ever been a player in a game where your incredibly skilled character just rolls poorly on whatever check they're doing, and then the dungeon master or game master describes the result as if your character is completely incompetent? That's not how that works, and we're going to talk a little bit about that in this video. Hello there, everyone. I'm Jake from JNJtabletop, and here in this channel, Josh and I are just trying to help you and your friends get the most out of your D&D games. So if that sounds interesting to you, go on down and hit the subscribe button and that bell so you always know when we release a video. When it comes to describing failure or success really in Dungeons & Dragons or any D20 system, it can be very easy to get caught up in the 20 is a success all the time and a 1 is always a failure, or a 20 is an epic success and a 1 is an epic failure. And you can lose sight of some of the realism that's in the game. When you have a D20 system, you just, every result is equally likely, and that is just kind of not the way things accurately are. It's fun, and that's why we love the game. But as far as accuracy, there's definitely something missing there. For example, a rogue that has expertise in stealth that fails a stealth check, it really should be about the circumstances and perhaps just dumb luck rather than some kind of incompetency at that skill. I like to think of it as the rogue that sneaks up to a door to listen, but someone on the other side of it just happens to open it up and smacks the rogue in the face, and that could be the natural one that happens at the table and you're trying to find something that would accurately represent that result. Let's continue our stealth example. Let's say that you're the dungeon master and you set a DC at 20, and your player rolls a stealth result that is less than 5, less than 20, so anywhere from like a 16 to a 19. The person that they're trying to sneak past is alerted that something is going on, but doesn't necessarily know exactly where the person is. It's not like, oh, this like loud beeping cell phone goes off and lights start shining everywhere. No, they're just, maybe they stepped on a twig, or even an animal happened to run past them and rustled the leaves. It wasn't even them. Whatever the case may be, the person is just alerted that something's up. For cases like that, I like to just use increments of 5 to describe degrees of success or failure, and really you kind of just have to manage each situation as it comes along. But if the DC is 20 and they get like a 25 or more, perhaps there is just zero, like they don't even like leave footprints behind that someone could perhaps track later on. So little things like that I like to use because it's more like a sliding scale, because I don't know, it adds a little bit of depth as to how the game is perceived and played. Now, some dungeon masters will actually take this concept of making sure that a competent character never fails and takes it to the extreme, and that's usually using something like the passive score. That's usually used most often with perception. That can be used to speed the game up, to just determine an average level of results. Or the way I like to look at it is you have a passive score, something that you're doing when you are not actively trying to do something. So if I'm actively trying to spot somebody that I heard, whose footprints are these, right? And I'm looking around, that's an active perception check. But if I'm just minding my own business and someone tries to sneak up on me, that's a passive check. That's how I like to do that, but there's some wiggle room there. I know some players will like to do something like, oh, my cleric with a wisdom of 20, I'm going to take the observant feat, and so at level 1, I have a passive perception of 22, and DMs will just let them never fail any kind of a perception check. Personally, I don't like to do that because it kind of feels a little bit of like an abuse of the formula of the system a bit, and it also kind of takes away from some features in the game, like the rogue's reliable talent, which is something that makes them special, and they get at level 11. That's usually where I draw the line, but that does mean, however, you're really probably never going to sneak up on a character like that, and that should be rewarded. So there's a fine line there, and you have to find what works best for you at your table, but nonetheless, I like to make sure that you're not taking away from someone else just because you did something fun. I'd love to know how you handle some of these concepts at your table, so let me know in the comments section and hit that like button while you go down there. And if you want to talk about handling weird skill checks, we got a video for you right here. And then the concept of taking 20 on a skill check exists, and we got a video for that right down here. So take care, everybody.